All right, folks, welcome to 90.9, the quadratic for your Algebra 2 final exam review guide video. Today, we are brought to you by Tazo Zen Tea, Cliff Bars, all of the flavors, St. Louis University, Go Billikens, and, of course, Starbucks. All right, we thank them. Guys, this video hopefully not going to be too quick. I'm going to try to provide you the answers. Guys, 1 and 2, multiply 5 and 8, then we multiply with the same base. You add the exponents. A negative exponent gets kicked south. Divide, ask yourself what has more x's, top or bottom? What has more y's, top or bottom? What has more z's, top or bottom? And by how many on number 2? Simply subtract on 3, combine like terms. Number 4, just distribute. It kind of looks like foil. You're multiplying there and combining the like terms. Everything loses 4 x's and gets divided by 9 on number 5. Number 6, synthetic division, x minus 2 equals 0. Put 2 in the cubby. Then you bring 4 down. 2 times 4 is 8. Add these together. 2 times 1 is 2. Add them together. 2 times 15 is 30. Add them together. 26 is the remainder, so that's why it's plus 26 over x minus 2. If you have 4x to the third and divide it by x, everything's 1 power less. That's why it's 4x squared when you started with 4x to the third. Guys, on 7, state the degree and the leading coefficient. The degree is the highest power, which is 5. What's attached to it? 14. The degree, highest degree is 13. The highest power is not 13, it's 3. So that's the degree. What's attached to it? Negative 7 is the leading coefficient. All right, folks, on number 8, state the number of real zeros and describe the end behavior. In behaviors, notice how this goes in the same direction, so it's even degree. You cross the x-axis 2 times, 2 real zeros. The end behavior here is opposite. Opposite equals odd degree. You cross the x-axis 1, 2, 3 times, 3 real zeros. Facts are completely on 9. You have a difference of 2 cubics, or 2 cubes, perfect cubes. Take the cubed root of 64. Take the third root, the cubed root of x to the third. It's just x minus 4. Then you take this first term and you square it. If this is a negative, that's a plus. Take the inner product of 4 times x, 4x. Then you take 4 and square it. 1 multiplies to 10 because it's positive, adds to 7, 5, and 2. The way to get x to the fourth is have x squared and x squared. Take the x out, so you're left with x squared minus 2x minus 63. 1 multiplies to 63. And because it's negative, differs by 2, 9, and 7. X minus 9, x plus 7. On 12, write a polynomial of least degree, which has given zeros. X equals negative 3, x equals 0, x equals 2. If x equals 0, then it's just x on the outside. It's always the opposite, x plus 3 inside the parentheses, x minus 2 inside. Do x times x times 3. Get x squared plus 3x and multiply it by x minus 2, just first, outer, inner, last, combine like terms. If x equals negative 4, x equals negative 2y, x also equals the conjugate, a positive 2y. So what you're going to do is x times x is x squared. Negative 2 times 2 is a negative 4. If x squared equals negative 4, move this over. X squared plus 4 is in the parenthesis. If x equals negative 4, x plus 4 is in the parenthesis. First, outer, inner, last it. Some of these questions, folks, are going to be a little challenging. Again, your final is not going to be 90 questions. Be close to 60, though. Take out the x they have in common, leaving you with x squared minus 3x minus 18. 1 multiplies to 18 because it's negative, differs by 3. Negative 6, positive 3. That's why we have x minus 6, x plus 3 with the x on the inside. Cover-up method, x equals 0, x minus 6 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0. Get your 3 answers. 15, what multiplies to 40 and adds to a negative 13, negative 8, negative 5. So because it's x to the fourth, it's x squared times x squared. X squared minus 8 is 0. X squared equals 8. Take the square root, you get plus or minus 8. X squared minus 5 is 0. Move this over, take the square root, you get plus or minus 5. On 16, you have a difference of 2 perfect squares, all right? How do you get x to the fourth? X squared times x squared. What multiplies to 16 because it's negative? There is no middle term there. It differs by 0, negative 4, positive 4. So set this equal to 0. plus or minus 2. Set this equal to 0. If x squared equals negative 4, you get plus or minus 2i. Made a boo-boo on 17. I want that positive 20 to become a positive 10. This is a really tough question. I made it. It'll be a lot easier on your final. If you do get this question, you know, this might not be on it. What do these two have in common? A 4x squared, leaving you with x plus 2. What do these have in common? A 5, leaving you with x plus 2. So the x plus 2 goes together. The 4x squared plus 5 goes together. This gives you really an easy answer of x equals negative 2. This does not. You get 4x squared is a negative 5. So you divide both by 4, take the I out. My mistake on that one. Just simply add f of x and g of x here. That's what it means. So take this plus this, combine like terms. Simply multiply f of x times g of x. So take this times this, first, outer, inner, last, and simply subtract this and this. Make sure the negative goes through to both, leaving you with negative x minus 12. 21, guys, you can take the square root of 0, but nothing less than that, so that's how you get an I. Set x minus 5 equal to 0, you get x equals 5. You want anything 0 and above in there, so you can put anything that is 5 or bigger. That's why it's greater than or equal to 5. This number is always involved with the range, so we always said like y and 8. And as you plug in values of x that you're allowed, 6, 7, 8, this keeps getting bigger. That's why it's y is greater than or equal to 8. Right here, folks, set this equal to 0. 4 minus x is 0. X is 4, but because you're subtracting, you can't have values of x that are bigger than 4. It's got to be 4 or less, and that's what x is less than or equal to 4 means for the domain. For the range, folks, if you put in values of y that you're allowed, 4, 3, 2, 1, this gets bigger. So it means you're still going to have y greater than or equal to 3. The only thing that would make the range a less than or equal to is if you had a negative on the outside, which you don't. All right, folks, let's take a look at 23. This is a pretty easy first part here. You evaluate this first. Plug negative 2 in for x in the g equation. So 4 times negative 2 minus 3 gives you negative 11. Then plug negative 11 into the outer function f. Negative 11 squared plus 7. When you square a negative, you get a positive. That's your answer. Same thing on 24. Plug negative 3 in for x in the f equation. Get 16 and plug it into the outer function right here. 4 times 16 minus 3, 61. On 25, plug 1 into the g equation there. You get 1. Then plug 1 back into the f equation. 1 squared plus 7 is 8. F of 2, you're just working with f. Plug 2 in for x right there. You get 11, and then plug 11 in for x right there. You get 128. Find the inverse of each function. First off, I just started with y. You interchange x and y swap, and then you try to solve for y. So add 3 to both sides, and finally divide by 4. Here, y swap, add 7 to both sides. If you want to get rid of a square root, square both sides, and then add 2 to the other side. 29 and 30 give you clean answers. If you're taking the square root, there's an imaginary 2. The second root of 144 is 12. 2 goes into 14 7 times. 2 goes into 22 11 times for the y. The third root of 8 is 2. 3 goes into 12 for the x 4 times. 3 goes into 24 for the y 8 times. All right, take a look here at 31. These do not go in cleanly. The second root of 20 breaks down to be 4 and 5, so you're left with 2 and 2. So that 2 gets a break out of jail. 2 goes into 7 3 times for the x. That 5 stays on the inside. 2 goes into 7 3 times with 1 left over. Taking the second root of this, that's why there's a 2 on the outside. Break down 45, a pair of 3s. A 3 breaks out of jail with a 5 left over. 2 goes into 13 for the x 6 times with 1 left over. 2 goes into the 5 for y twice with 1 left over. And 33, the second root of 27. You got a pair of 3s that breaks out. Another 3 stays in there. 2 goes into 11 5 times with 1 left over. 2 goes in 8 4 times exactly with the y's. Guys, just multiply within first. 8 times 8, 144. X to the 5th times x to the 4th is this. X to the 7th times x to the 8th is that. Second root of 144 is simply 12. 2 goes into 9 for the x 4 times with 1 left over. 2 goes into the 17 for the y's 8 times with 1 left over. You're multiplying with conjugates, so all you have to do is the first and the last. 4 times 4 is 16. A negative times a positive is a negative. Root 3 times root 3 is root 3 squared, and when you square a square root, the number just drops on out. If you want to, you can call it 16 minus root 9, which is 16 minus 313. Break down 40. All right, you get 2 root 10. 5 root 10 is as good as it gets. If you have 2 root 10 and 5 root 10, you have 7 root 10. Break down 27, you get 3 root 3. Break down 12, you get 2 root 3. 3 root 3, 2 root 3 gives you 5 root 3. All right, here's what you do. You square both sides to get rid of a square root. Then you add 4 to both sides. First off, subtract 2 first. Move this over. And then square both sides, solve for x. Add 3 to both sides. And then divide by 3. And then square both sides. Add 3 to both sides. All right, and we're moving on, folks. 41, 42, pretty easy. If it's bigger than 1, it's growth. If it's less than 1 as a base, it's decay. Take this leftover part, 0.035, move the decimal over twice, 3.5% growth. Do 1 minus 0.98, get 0.02, move the decimal over twice, 2% decay. Right, it's that exponential equation in log form. So you're going to have, here's the base, log base 4 of the answer equals the exponents. Log base 27 of the answer equals the exponent. I made a boo-boo. It's got to be equal to 3 here. Write each logarithmic equation in exponential form. 5 is the base, 3 is the exponent, 125 is the answer. 3 is the base, 4 is the exponent, 81 is the answer. Guys, evaluate. You could use change of base, or 2 to the what power gives you 32, and it's just 5. You get the same thing here. Here you got to use change of base. It's log of 21 divided by log of the base 3. Type that in your calc. In your calc, you would just make sure to close the parentheses, and it'll give you 2.77. Same thing here. Log of 83 divided by log of 4, 3.19. In the log world, addition means multiplication. 4 times 27, you can put it together as log 108. In the log world, subtraction means division. 44 divided by 11 is natural log 4. And a number on the outside means it could have been an exponent. 5 to the 3rd power, log 125. And we're moving pretty well here.